Nothing screams backyard barbecue like a fired up kettle grill, running some charcoal briquettes, and a good steak. Today I'm gonna show you how to tackle one of the most difficult cooks on a charcoal grill when you're a beginner, and that is a thick cut of meat. Why is it so difficult, you may ask? It's because you're trying to get that perfect sear and that perfect internal temperature. Balancing those on a charcoal grill with something this thick can be tough, and I'm gonna show you how to manage that. So today we've got the certified Piedmontese grass-fed, grass-finished Tomahawk ribeye. This sucker's about 36 ounces and it's begging to get on this SNS kettle. Let's get started. When it comes to getting charcoal ready, there's three components that you need. Obviously charcoal, and for these kettle grills, I love using Kingsford briquettes, just the standard briquettes. These are the briquettes that your dad and your grandfather used many, many years ago. I feel like I get the most consistency from using these, especially in these kettle grills. The next thing you're gonna need, some fire starters. Stop using petroleum products like charcoal lighter fluid to get your charcoal started. Use some of these tumbleweed starters. They're cheap. You can buy them in a box at the hardware store. You get 15, 20, 30 of them. They'll last you half the summer. To go along with that is a chimney starter. This essentially gets the flame and the air underneath, and it forces all the heat and air and fire to go up through the center. That will help get this charcoal lit in about 10 minutes. So with that being said, let's get it ready. We'll take these loose ones here, get them up into the chimney starter, and then you need yourself a lighter. These tumbleweed light so well that it's just a standard Bic lighter will do the job. Set the chimney on top, and it'll be about 10 minutes and your charcoal will be good and ready to get started on this slow and sear kettle. Now we know our charcoal's ready when you can start to see the cherry embers just below and the top charcoal is starting to ash. Now the nice thing about this slow and sear is having zone control with your heating. Anytime that I'm gonna be searing and then slowly bringing a steak up to temperature, I want that zone control. I want those direct flames, that direct heat, and I want that offset so that I can pull the meat away from those direct flames to keep them from burning. So let's get this opened up, and you can see right here, that charcoal is nice and ready. Now for a little additional smoke and flavor, we have some post oak chunks here, and I'm gonna get them down in to the slow and sear. Then we can get our grate back on top and get the lid on. Now you notice that I'm sliding the thermometer away from the coals. I'm gonna be monitoring the temperature on this side, on the cooler side, indirect side, because that's where I wanna control the temperature later when we put the steak on. For now, we're gonna choke this down a little bit and we're gonna let this thing heat up and get the steak on. One of my favorite parts about the SNS kettle grills in comparison to other kettles, the shelf on the side. This is super handy, especially when you need a place to put a tray or a prep table or cutting board, anything of the nature, just like we've got here today with this Tomahawk. Now, I usually start out my steaks with a little bit of a binder, and today that is going to be some olive oil. So I'm gonna place just a slight drizzle of olive oil in my glove. And I'm going to put this on both sides and all of the edges of this Tomahawk ribeye. Give it a nice shiny glaze just like we have here. And today for seasoning, I'm gonna be using the Hay Grill Hay beef rub. This is a great blend of salt, pepper, garlic, onion, and some other spices. It is ground pretty fine, and I like that on a steak. So we're gonna get a nice coating of this on the steak. Now, because these are thick, you can coat it on a little bit heavier than you normally would because there's gonna be a lot of meat per each bite. Now, don't forget the sides. I don't know about you, but that looks like a beautiful Tomahawk ribeye seasoned to perfection with the Hay Grill Hay beef rub, and we're here at the SNS kettle ready to drop this on the fire. Come in here and I'm gonna show you the tricks. And what is important is that we have a hot fire, and as you can see, these coals are red. That post oak is actually burning a little bit, and we're going to get this Tomahawk on right into those coals. The approach that we're doing here with this steak today, because it is so thick, is to get the sear on it first before we worry about the internal temperature. Because at this point, with the temperature of the steak internally, it's pretty chilled. It came out of the refrigerator just a few minutes ago. On top of that, being so thick, we're gonna be able to put a nice sear on this without even worrying about the internal temperature. We're gonna give this a moment on this side, and we're gonna flip this thing over. Now, when it is time to flip this, we're not just gonna flip it in place. I'm actually gonna spin this out of the way, and it's important to have heat-resistant gloves. And we're gonna let this part of the grate get hot, and then we're gonna put this on there so that we're getting those good sear marks. Now, after you get to a certain point where you've rotated it through and you're starting to get those char marks and you're starting to see the rub actually stick, what you're gonna wanna do is get yourself some melted butter. You can throw a little seasonings in there, a little garlic if you want, and just brush that on. That little bit of butter is gonna go a long way with that sear on this steak. And just as quick as we got that on the sear, we're gonna get it right back off. We're gonna let this side heat up again. We've already got butter on this. We're gonna flip that right into that hot grate. With a tomahawk, it also helps to get a little bit of a sear along the edge as well. Using that bone like a handle and a good heat-safe glove is perfect for the application. Now that we've got a good sear on this, we're keeping it away from the fire as far as we can. We're not gonna be doing any more cooking over the fire. We're not gonna be doing any more searing. This has got all that it needs. So I like at this point to take a couple pads of butter and just place them on the top of the steak. We're gonna get our lid on. We're gonna regulate the temperature up here with this damper on the lid itself. Now we want to keep this about that 250, 275 temperature range. Now we don't care about the temperature over the coals, we care about the temperature over the steak. So I'm gonna turn this, and I'm gonna turn these dials down to back down the flame itself. And we wanna monitor this to make sure that we don't get too hot. We do have our sear the way that we want it. Very rough sear, but we did a great job over that coal. You need an instant read thermometer because a steak like this is delicate and we don't want to overcook it. So using this instant read thermometer, we're going to be able to tell the temperature in that steak down in the thickest part of the center. Just for the heck of it, I am going to check it here really quickly, and you can see that butter is already melting. So even with that sear, we're at 66 degrees internal temperature. We need this thing to get to 130. We've got some time with that, and that's why it's off the flame, and we're just gonna slowly bring that up the rest of the way. We can do a final temp check on this tomahawk ribeye, and we are reading 130 in the thickest parts. It's time to get this out, but we're gonna do something a little special with this. Now this is a resting technique that I picked up from former camp chef, executive chef, Chef Logan, and that is resting these steaks in saran wrap. And the entire purpose of this is to get all of those juices locked in and sealed inside of this steak. Now you're probably asking what I would do with this saran wrap steak. How am I gonna rest this? Well, the best thing that I can tell you to do is put it on a plate in case a little bit of the juices leak, and set it in your microwave. Let it sit there and rest. Obviously don't turn it on, but it's a good place, a good temperature controlled place. A little bit of this residual heat will fill up in there and it'll be perfect for resting this. And with this steak, we're gonna wanna rest this for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. The longer you go, the more those juices are gonna lock in this cellophane, and it is gonna be tender and frickin' delicious. Now we let this charcoal grilled tomahawk ribeye rest in the microwave sitting on this paper plate for 15 minutes. And I wanna show you something about this saran wrap. There is not a drop of juice So that means this steak sat and saturated in that butter, in those juices, in those seasonings, and it is time to give it a try. Now, the one thing that we do want to do is make sure that we save all of those juices. So I'm going to carefully open this from the top, gently pull this steak out. Now let's cut into this tomahawk ribeye. First thing that I do is come in here, get it off the bone. We like our dogs around here, so we're probably gonna let them gnaw on it a little bit. Now, this right here is the best part of the ribeye. That is the spinalis dorsi. I'm gonna separate that and put that off to the side. Now, basically what we have is that center cut ribeye. And I'm just going to take my nice Damascus chef's knife here, cut into that. Now, this should be a nice medium rare, and sometimes on these cameras, it is tough to translate that color. For some reason, that red just doesn't stand out, but it looks like it's doing pretty good on this one. Now, it is super juicy, it is tender, and guess what? We got one more secret. I'm gonna cut up this spinalis as well. Guess what? We saved all that juice. You want to talk about steak sauce? You don't need A1. This right here is what you need. Now it's time to try it. So, smart me, gonna swoop it right through some of that juice. We're gonna give it a try. There's nothing better than a charcoal grilled and charcoal seared steak. That is such a prominent taste that you get directly from that sear, from that bark that we've got on the outside. It is absolutely delicious. Now, that resting method, using that butter, using that saran wrap, all of that made for an incredibly juicy steak. But we can't forget that we started out with a top-notch steak to begin with. This is a certified Piedmontese, grass-fed, grass-finished. These start out super tender, and they have a good, earthy, beefy flavor, and they are absolutely delicious. Now, if you know anything about ribeyes, that spinalis is the most important part, and I can't go without trying it, to be honest with you. Money. And if you're looking for other great cooks like this one, or more work that I've done on this SNS kettle, then I suggest you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and check out this video right here.